Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining and with us on today. We have an exciting show today. Our guest has a lot that she would like to share with us. But I'm going to wait a few minutes to some more of my friends come on. I can see you all coming on. And we have a very exciting show. Those of you that are deciding that you want to write a book, you'll get to hear this young lady experience and the things that she's doing to get her books and get them out there. I see she has several books that she has already written. I'm going to give you her name in a minute, but I'm trying to wait till some more of you guys come on. I'm looking, waiting for my friends. Hello, hello. How y'all doing? Just so glad that you decided to come and drop in on the Tammy Talk Show to hear what we'll be talking about today. My topic is want to write a book. And that's just a question I want to ask you all. Do you all want to write a book? And these are some details that the young lady is going to give us tonight. Her name is Brandy Lucas. I thank you, Brandy, for joining us on today. I thank you for taking out time of your busy schedule to squeeze us in and to share with us your experience on writing a book. I see here you motivate to live a purpose life. And Brandy, you have chosen to embrace your life as a single woman.
Right.
At an early age, she developed a passion for reading and writing as a form of expression. And you're constantly evolving. She has turned her passion into a mission to inspire, uplift, motivate others to be the best version of themselves. She is the founder of Luke Legacy Publishing, named in honor of her father, who was a published author and a poet. Good evening, Brandy.
How
Thank you
are
for
you? Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, yes. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So like you said, I am a author, a writer, a operations manager by day, author
Okay.
by morning and night, and so it's just something that I've been passionate about my whole life, and um,
Mhm.
I started at a young age, like I said, writing, and was influenced by my father, who was a poet and often wrote poems and encouraged me to write at a young age. So
Okay.
I finally, later on, as I got older, started to take it a little bit more serious and eventually went on and published, my books and my journals and things like that.
Okay, okay. Is it true that writers run in your family?
Yeah, so only that my dad that I know of. So just me and
Mhm.
my dad basically are the only writers that have come forward.
Okay,
But yeah, me and my dad are the writers of the family.
okay. So what made you want to write a book?
I used to, as a kid, write short stories in little notebooks. I would be inspired by something I read or something I watched, and I would write a little short story. And my friends would find it, like, oh, I found this little notebook, or I left the notebook at a friend's house and they
Mhm.
read it. And, that kind of encouraged me. And I loved to read when I was younger. I loved to read a lot of different books and things like that. So I think that's kind of what inspired me and got me started in writing.
Okay. Um, how old were you when you first wrote your first book?
So I wrote a short story. Well, I published a short story. Like I said, I've been writing probably all my life, but I published a short story probably when I was like 32, and then Single Not Dead came out when I was 33. So in my 30s, yeah, my early 30s.
Um, how many books have you written so far?
So, like I said, I published a short story book. I wrote Single Not Dead, and then now I've just published 3 journals. So, prayer journals and inspirational journals, which took some writing, but not as much writing as it would have been with the book. So, I would say 1 book and 3 journals.
Okay. All right. 1.3 journals. Okay. I know sometimes I love to write too,
Mhm.
but when I start writing, I can get like, okay, this is enough. You can stop now. I'm gonna go get back to it another day. But I still get back to it. I have a question here. What would you tell people that have started writing books
Mhm.
but are procrastinating?
So it's so funny you asked. I always call myself the queen of procrastination. I, I actually wrote an article that called the Confessions of a Serial Procrastinator. So
Mhm.
it's something that I struggle with.
That one. Say it again. I said, say it again.
I wrote an article called "The Confessions of a Serial Procrastinator," which is it's funny that you brought that up.
I love that.
Procrastination, it really is probably one of the biggest reasons people don't either start writing or finish writing books. And like I talk about all the time, procrastination is really just basically fear manifesting itself. It's you're procrastinating for a reason. Whether it be that you're afraid of how hard you think it's going to be to finish, or what comes with finishing, whether it be failure or success, or how much you have to sacrifice or whatever. So that's really what it's rooted in. To kind of get over that procrastination is just kind of force yourself to get it done, whether you get an accountability partner and say, look, I really want to finish this book. I'm committed to doing a page a day or 500 words a day, and I need you to be my accountability partner. Somebody that's really going to hold you accountable. And some people do things like take it to social media and they'll say, hey, I'm committed to writing this many days a week or things like that. So
Yeah.
it's really just trying to get to the root cause of why you're really procrastinating. Is usually a reason, and then trying to overcome that.
Yeah, yeah. I know that procrastination because I've been trying to write a book for a while.
Yeah.
Start and stop, start and stop. But you just explained it to us that are listening, that are writing books, have started it and not finished the book because you're thinking of it might not sell or the people might not be interested in it. But there are people out there that love all types of books.
Mm-hmm.
They will enjoy reading yours also. Just put it out there. Just get it started. Just make it happen.
Yeah.
Is it true that writers have writer's block?
Yes, writer's block is a real thing. It's usually mentally and for me. And so again, it's always trying to figure out what it really is. So when you have writer's block, it could be that you're writing at the wrong time. Some people may try to write when they get off work, and that's not a good time for them because it's been a stressful day, their mind is overstimulated or things like that. Others may find that they're more creative at night. So it's kind of finding that right groove to get in. And then a lot of people don't understand, to be a writer, you probably need a lot of inspiration. So you want to read other books in your genre, you want to watch things in your genre to kind of get that inspiration, not to copy off other people, but it kind of gets you your creative juices flowing and it kind of inspires you. But you also have to find out what your rhythm is, So you may write on your lunch break might not work for you. Writing at 5 o'clock in the morning might not work for you. So finding out when am I most creative? When do I have most peace? When I can actually focus on what I'm trying to do is a lot of times that's what people get writer's block. It's not necessarily that they run out of stuff to write about. It's just they have too much on their time, too much on their mind. They're writing at the wrong times and like that.
Yes, I can understand that because sometimes you be writing just because if you have a moment, but you don't feel what you're writing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was doing at time. I wasn't feeling what I was writing, so I would just stop.
Right.
And
And
so
that's too. You're not going to always be motivated to write, and you still have to push through that. Whether it's okay, I feel like I wrote crap today, but you wrote because you have to get in the discipline. It's just like working out. Some days you work out 5 days a week. They might not always be good workouts, but you're showing up at the gym. You're making a habit. You're teaching yourself discipline. So every single day you sit down, you're not going to be in a mood to just write 5,000 words. It might be a struggle to get 100 words that day, But the fact that you carved time, you stuck to a plan, you were disciplined, is what you're trying to build that muscle of discipline, not always being, I'm only going to write when I'm motivated. If
Right.
you write when you're motivated and when you're inspired, you might write once a month. You know what I mean? So you got to try to push.
Yeah.
If I wrote when I was motivated, I mean, I would write 0 words on the paper, maybe a paragraph every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love to read books, and I love to get into it and into the story that I'm reading.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read the story, I want to make it resonate, like come real as I'm reading.
Yes.
So when I write my book, I want that to get the same reaction to other people, that they can be experiencing or have experienced something that relates
Right.
to what they're going through at the time in their life. So they will read the whole book and tell a friend about the book, and another friend tell that friend. So the book will sell, but I want something that is going to resonate to the people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why you try to reach within yourself and write something that is captivating and will capture the mind of
Right.
the person that's reading. And I haven't gotten to that place in my life right now where I could write that book and just finish it.
Right.
And people just read it and enjoy it. But I'm glad you have. I heard you say something about some journals that you have written. And I think I was reading one of them, it was saying like a daily, you can get the book and you can write your daily journal
Right.
as you read it, and it correspond with the scriptures and stuff that you can put it together as you write in your journal.
Yeah, so there's one of them is called Faith Over Fear, and all the scriptures are dealing with overcoming fear, or having faith over fear. And it's really for if you're doing a fast or you're trying to get more into your word, and
Mhm.
let you meditate on the scripture and then kind of jot down some thoughts. It lets you talk about some things that maybe you're fearful of. I'm sorry. Or just the things that you're going through. And then those verses, you kind of meditate on that, and then you kind of have a chance to write those thoughts out for the week. And it also gives you some space to write out some goals and some things and people you want to pray for. There's another one that I did that was prayer over problems. So it's the same thing about that, encouraging you to pray. And again, 12 weeks of you meditating on a different scripture and kind of jotting down your thoughts throughout that week. And it allows you to go back and it's dated, so you can go back and talk about, see where you were in that 12-week period and where you came. And it gives you a space to talk about, some of the things that you're praying for and who you're praying for and things of that nature. So and then the last one that I just created, which is my favorite one, is called Let Go. And that one is really about getting you different journal prompts to talk about the things that you want to let go, whether it be relationships or, generational curses or things that you just are allowing to affect you and how you're trying to let go, and writing that down and writing, why you're holding on to this and how you can let it go. So that one so far has been my favorite because I wrote it at a time where I was struggling to let go of some things, and I was holding on to a lot of things, and I was trying to convince myself. I kept just saying, I just need to let this go. I just need to let this go. And it kind of gave me the idea of a journal. And I should start journaling what I'm feeling and why I'm struggling to let this go and things of that nature.
Yes, because I heard people say that when you're writing things down, it's giving you like a gateway to let things go and release some of the things that are on the inside of you. And I like that. I like that title there, letting things go, because a lot of people in our lifetime, we have some things that we're holding on to.
Yeah.
We won't let go, but we want to progress and we want to move forward.
Right.
But we're holding on to some things that are not going to let us move forward.
Right.
And going to let us go forth like we want to. But writing in a journal, you'll be able to do those things and decide it's time for me to let it go. It's time for me to just step out of the same place that I'm at right now. So I really like that. I think I'm gonna get me a couple of these journals. I gotta look it up and find it. I'm send the money in. I want you to even let the people know how they can purchase your journals and everything toward the end of our conversation. But when you spoke on that, that really resonated with me because a lot of us are dealing with stuff we need to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandy is telling you all today that she have a journal that will help you walk yourself right out of what you need to let go. It can be procrastination.
Yeah.
It can be that a real relationship, like she said. It can be your job. It can be anything that is holding you down and holding you back. You know, you want that business, but you're still procrastinating. You don't know what to do. So she want to give you a journal that will help you walk yourself out of those situations and how to let it go. Okay. Are there writers, coaches, or mentors for people that need help with their writing?
Right. There's a ton of resources. One of the people that I recommended, who really inspired me when I was trying to write a book, her name is, she pronounces it Tanisha Johnson, but it's spelled Tenita.
Mm.
Tanita Johnson. She is phenomenal in terms of motivating people to
Mhm.
just start writing books. She's a editor, she's a book coach, and she's someone that I really look towards when I first start writing. She in terms of where I should begin, or to be professional with publishing and things like that. I also listen to a lot of different podcasts. There's a podcast out there, I think it's called Write Your Best Book. And then
Mhm.
another podcast called the Self Publishing Book Podcast with
Okay.
Mark Dawson. So those are probably the three resources that I would recommend. I listen to the podcast, and you can go back and find they cover an array of topics on from formatting, from outlining to how to actually publish the book and things like that. So it's not all information is good that's out there, but there are some valid resources out there that will help you not only get started writing, but when you're ready for the publishing phase and things like that.
Right, right. I'm gonna see if we can get those people name up on my show so that people can go back and look at it at
Mhm.
the end of the show. I'm sure in a minute it'll be typed up there. But if I don't see it, okay, I see it right now. It's going up. Okay, and we also have here on my show where you can go and look at it back. You can feedback, go through the feedback and read it. People, you can see where you can order her journals. We got that listed up there, so you can look there and you can find her journals that you can purchase and start doing your journal and writing and walking yourself through things that you need to walk out of or make things happen in your life because you're making a journal of it. So that's a good thing to do. Can you tell us about Luke Legacy Publishing?
Sure. So
Mhm.
Luke Legacy Publication, it was named in honor of my father. My father's nickname was Luke. Everybody called him Luke. They didn't really call him by his first name.
Okay.
So when he passed away, before he passed away, he was working on an autobiography, and he was asking me to help him with it. And he also was encouraging me to kind of go off into writing, into that entrepreneurship, that field, and start working on that. So I kind of dedicated it to him because I know he definitely would be excited and proud and been a
None.
part of that. So I started the company in order to, self-publish my work, and also for all of my services that I offer, whether it be editing or copywriting or things like that. So basically, that's what it is. It's basically his legacy through my works.
Okay. And someone is asking, what was the podcast name again?
So one of the podcasts was called Write Your Best Book.
Okay.
And then the second podcast was the Self Publishing Show, or the two podcasts.
All right.
And then the book coach was Tanita Johnson. Well, she pronounces it Tanisha. It's Tenita Johnson. And she's on Facebook, on Instagram. You'll be able to find her under that name.
Okay. Good, good, good. Are you accepting new? No, I'm not going to ask you that question there. Okay. So can you give us some tips, final tips and events and projects that you are working on? Can you give that some
Sure,
information?
absolutely. In terms of tips, I would say if you're struggling with just writing, I would say just get started, whether it be, especially for nonfiction, because I feel like a book is very important, especially for business people, especially for, if you're, I would say like a psychologist, a coach, a therapist, a pastor, if you have a service or thing that you offer, that book is for your business card, and it makes you, gives you authority and makes you more authentic in your particular field. So it's definitely needed for a business. A business is just going to help brand you. And so if you're struggling with writing, I would just say don't get caught up in the weeds. If you look at the big picture, it may be overwhelming. But if you break it down and say, okay, this week I'm going to research how to do a great outline. And then next week I'll move on to how to, write a great first draft. And you spend maybe 2 weeks, and maybe you spend that week on another week on creating your outline. After you allow yourself to do that, just start writing. I don't care if it's 250 words a day, if you write for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, just come up with a plan and start. Even if you're starting small, just start and get in the habit of discipline of writing every single day. A lot of times what people do, and I'm kind of guilty of that as well, is will spend time researching. I'm going to watch all of this stuff. I'm going to read all of these articles. I'm going to listen to this podcast, and you don't have anything. You don't have an outline. You haven't started. So just getting started will give you that motivation, and, it'll inspire you to keep going. And then another tip and advice is that, the first draft is just that. It's a rough draft. A lot of times, especially when I'm editing stuff, give you their rough draft and say, okay, I'm ready to publish this. And it's like, you're not. Even like great writers like Stephen King and things like that, they don't turn, the rough draft is just a rough draft. That's just like your starting point, but you have to continue to, pick it apart, make it your best book. So those are my 2 main tips, and just get in a network of people who are doing what you're trying to do. So whether you follow a lot of authors online, you're constantly kind of feeding yourself that type of inspiration for things that you want to do, and you start getting real life examples of people who have done what you want to do. Kind of constantly get that motivation are some of the things that I would recommend in terms of tips. I think I see some questions over here.
Let me see.
Company. So if you are writing a book right now, Luke Legacy is not taking new manuscripts at the current moment, just because right now I'm focusing on some individual products. And before I offer those services to authors, I want to make sure that I can give that author the best experience possible. So I'm still, researching some things and making sure that I'll be able to offer a complete solution for an author right now. So I'm not accepting manuscripts, but we definitely will be doing that in the near future.
Okay. All right. And one thing about it, I want to say to the audience also, if you have a book in mind that you want to write, listen to all the information that Brandy has given us on tonight. Please just start writing down what you're thinking and feeling, because there's somebody out there need to read your book.
Right.
Somebody you will inspire them to be a better self, or you can probably help them make some moves that they need to make in their life, hearing your story or hearing the stories that are coming to your mind and to your heart that will help someone that you least expect. So write that book. Go ahead and write that book.
And don't kind of get, when I first started writing, I was so, I guess they call it imposter syndrome, where you feel like, well, nobody wants to hear what I say, or nobody, I don't have a PhD, or I'm not this, I don't have these credentials, what makes me, experienced enough to write a book, or what do I have to offer, when, like you said, like Tammy said, is somebody wants to hear your story, and your story is going to inspire somebody, help somebody. When I wrote Single Not Dead, I'm like, it was really, I wrote it for myself. And some people were like, I really needed that. I really needed that encouragement. And you always are kind of like, oh, okay, well, thanks. I didn't know that, it would have touched somebody or it inspire someone. So
That's
you don't
right.
have to be, this highly educated or all these credentials to write and tell your story.
That's right, because you could send your book off even to someone else that will proofread it and get all the
Exactly.
logistics and get everything correct in there and straighten out and spelt right and in the right category. They would do all of that for you.
Yeah.
So you're inspiring me tonight to go ahead and get my phone out there and stop procrastinating, because I've been procrastinating. So I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna get on out there and make it happen, because the title that I have is very catchy. My son have said several times he want to do a movie off just the title.
Yep. And that's funny you said that, because that's where my first book, the title just came in my head. I was in Bible study one day. I can't even tell you. We weren't even talking about relationships or anything.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of catchy, single. And I did. And I started Googling, like, did I make that up or did I hear that somewhere? But I had the title before I had the outline or the idea. So, that title is, sometimes it just comes to you and God just put it on your heart for whatever reason. And it's meant for you to take it and run with it.
Right. I tell you, I'm enjoying this conversation tonight. I hope other people are also enjoying it. I see we have quite a few people on here and they're making the comments, but I want you to know that you are encouraging some people to go ahead and write these books. Go ahead and get them out there. Go ahead and not be afraid to do it, because a lot of times, like you said, we're afraid to write a book because we think there's nobody going to read my book. They don't want to read this, but you just don't know. Some of the simplest books that I have read, that I think as I was reading them, it looked like the person probably thought it wasn't going to mean anything. But as I began to read the book, it began to resonate in me. And I would encourage other people to go out and get that book and read it. That book if they're going through that situation, or if they need to just get some time out. I write better when I'm off somewhere outside, outdoors, looking at nature.
Yeah.
Even I write my best sermons when I do that. When I'm by myself in a quiet area. So sometimes people need to be quiet. Some people need music in order to write, but whatever it takes to get it out there, get it out there. I'm so glad that Brandy came on tonight to share with us and to inspire us. Are you inspired? To get out there and make it happen. This is a young lady that has already started writing her book. When she popped up on my screen, I said, oh yeah, this is a young lady doing it already. And I would begin to think to myself, man, thinking about when I first got the title of my book, I was a lot younger than I am now, but I might be on my third or fourth or fifth or sixth book by now, but I didn't do it. But it's still in my heart, so I am going to write this book. I have read some books that, like I said, has really empowered me just to read them. So you might be the next person that's going to empower somebody, just by reading your book, by reading your story, by reading something that have come to your mind. It might not even be your story. It might just be something that has come to your mind that will help someone else. So you need to get on out there and write that book. Go ahead and write the book. It's okay. Somebody will read the book. Trust me, they will. And you might not even know that might be where your blessing gonna come from. Write that book.
Right.
Brandy, is there anything else you would like to share with us? Maybe something I didn't ask.
Sure. Mainly, you guys can, like I said, it's all the links for the journals are in the comments. It looks like you can get them on Amazon. You can get them on brandylucas.com. And I guess the only thing that I haven't talked about is basically just continue, just start somewhere, and whether it be articles, you can start off with articles, you can start off with a short story, and really just, I can't express enough. We have so many gifts. Like I heard you say that you have all these sermons, and I was thinking, I'm like, she probably have like 12 books and those sermons just alone, So it's just like we're all an expert at something. We're all talented. We're all have so many gifts. So if it's not a book, it may be a podcast. It may be a YouTube channel. Whatever it is, just get started. And I'm talking to myself.
Right? Get started and make it happen. I can remember when I was in college, we had to do a lot of writing.
Mm-hmm.
So like you were saying, you have to make the rough draft. So as I was writing up my rough draft, my teacher wanted to look at it. I'm like, I done scratched out and changed things, and he want to look at this. But when he began to read it, he would point out the different things and how I need to put it in order.
Mm-hmm.
With my rough draft that I had. And then when I put it into the story that he wanted to read, and I had to write like a 5-page.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I finished, he said it was a great writing that I had done, but I had to start somewhere, and he would give us a topic, and we had to go from there to write, the story that he wanted us to turn in for that class. So I'm glad that I did take that class. So that would probably help me too when I do get started. I'm gonna get started.
Well, November 1st is, I think it's called NaNo. It's National Writing Month. So it's really supposed to be a challenge. I think you can go to like nano.com and you can start this challenge where you write every single day for the next 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you write, I forgot what the math is, maybe 1,500 words a day, which you don't have to do that much, but you can join the challenge of just writing every single day for the next 30 days. It's a national challenge that I start participating in every month and kind of fall off. But if you guys really are serious about writing, that's a good time to start November 1st. And you can just write a little. You can just commit to writing. I'm commit to writing 200 words. I'm commit to writing 15 minutes. Start off something small.
Yeah.
And work your way up. But yeah, it's a national writing month where hundreds and thousands of writers are committing for 30 days to write something.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Did y'all hear that? Those of you that are interested, go ahead and go online and look it up and start writing. I'm going to do it also. Did y'all hear that? But I'm going to do it too. I will start looking at it and challenging myself to do that also, because I really want to get my book out. I want to come on my own show and talk about my own book one day, come up and say, yes, I wrote the book. Brandy, she inspired me to write the book, to go ahead and make it happen. So I will make it happen. I'm so glad you joined us on this. Yes, and I hope you come back and share some more of your books that you are writing, your journals that you're writing. And when you get, in the direction that you want to go in, where you start helping people, I want you to come back and, just talk about that. So those that are looking for someone to help them, that you can give them some guidelines and some leadership on getting their book started and getting it out there. I'm sure you guys have enjoyed you also. And I want to tell you, thank you again. I hope I didn't hold you too long, because I know you're a young lady. Getting things done for yourself. And I take my hat off to any young person that is doing their dream, that is making it happen, not sitting down waiting for it to happen, but getting yourself out there, putting yourself out and making it happen for yourself. And also, I know that your father are looking down on you, saying, my baby girl is doing it. She's making it happen, and smiling and saying, my baby doing it. She's on Facebook now talking about it. I was just probably telling everybody in heaven, you see, that's my baby. That's my baby. She's doing it.
He definitely is. If you knew my father, he definitely is making everybody listen and read anything I've ever written.
Yes. So I'm happy for you, and I believe you're going to go far.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you again for joining us here tonight on the Tammy Talk Show. Until next time, friends and family, see you on Sunday. Join in on Sunday at 6:30, where we'll be coming back to have some fun on the Tammy Talk Show. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.